There we go. Hey, Helena. Everybody's muted. Okay. Yeah, you muted us. Hey, Clifty. Hey, Helena.
Hello. Can I know who's chairing this meeting today?
That is a good question. Helena, you set this meeting up.
We are in the main call. I'm just 1 minute, Matt. I'm just trying to check with the technical team. If I know Timo is joining.
I'm also waiting for Mike because I know that he was very keen to set up this conversation and he should be joining us any minute. So if you just give us a second and then hopefully we'll be able to kick off.
If those from the Aries JavaScript framework team, please can I know who's leading the meeting today? Timo. Oh.
Hi. Sorry, I was just having some setup issues. Yeah, let me share my screen and get started. Let's see, is there any specific, because I see a lot of new people here today, is there specific, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Timo, just a little bit of context. Perhaps I should have talked to you earlier about it. We are kind of we don't want to bomb your meeting. So just to give you a little bit of context, my name is Kirti Thomas. I work for a company called Digital Catapult, and I follow most of the Akapai team, and I'm also the vice chair for TOIP governance stack, been with Drummond and Stephen. So I, as a part of our work, we've kind of liked what you are doing with Java, the Aries framework for JavaScript, and we thought we will be able to contribute to your work, and therefore I've actually got my engineering team to join me to discuss with you, in terms of what y'all are doing, and just get an introduction to yourselves, get to follow what y'all are doing, and also kind of understand where our team can contribute to the work that you're already doing. So apologies, Timo. I should have had this conversation with you outside of this call, but please accommodate me now. I'll ask my team to introduce themselves. Just a little bit of additional context on what we do. We are a innovation lab, non-profit innovation lab in London, part funded by the UK government, and we help SMEs in the UK adopt latest technologies. And one of them is SSI technology, and we're trying to build a library that might be useful for the SMEs in the UK, and that's where our interest is. And we've kind of already been working on the JavaScript framework for. We've kind of branched out, and we've been doing some work, and we'd like to contribute, offer that to you, and also know from you, what are the kind of things that you like us to help with. So that's where it is. Apologies again that I've not talked to you earlier. If you don't mind, if you give me a couple of minutes, I will let our engineering team just introduce themselves, tell them their names and what they do, and I will leave you to carry on with your meeting. And then at the end, probably we can have a discussion on not disturb your meeting, but at the end we can have a discussion on how and what our collaboration can be, if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah, that's what these meetings are for. So yeah, go ahead. Interested to hear about it.
So so we have our head of engineering, Matt, and then lead engineer, technical lead, Mike, and then Helena is one of them. So I'll just let them introduce and give a brief introduction of what they do.
Thanks, Kirti. I'll go first. So yeah, my name's Matthew Dean. I'm head of software engineering at Digital Catapult. I've actually had a couple of PRs on some of the Aries repos. I've got one open on the extensions repo at the moment, so happy to contribute and really keen to hear more about your guys' plans and find out how we can contribute. John?
Yes, I'm Jonathan Gray. I'm an engineer at Catapult, and I'm working as part of this project as well.
Yeah, I think it's my turn. Hi, I'm Helena. I'm a software engineer on the team, and yeah, I'm just part of this project as well. Yeah. I don't know if Mike is joining.
Okay, sorry. You might find one of our another colleagues join in the future meetings. He's not there today. Thank you so much, Timo. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you all. And good that you're here. I was wondering, you said like this is the PR you're talking about, like the update for the REST wrapper, right?
Yeah, this is the one I've got open at the moment, yeah. I haven't been able to update it for a while. I've been a bit busy with other stuff, but I'm planning to hand it over to one of my colleagues soon, and they'll hopefully be able to get it up to 0.50, because I noticed that's been recently released, and therefore there might be a bit more work to do.
Yeah, I actually wanted to reach out to you about this because I need to update it also for another project. So I was thinking like maybe I can pick it up where you left off and update
absolutely.
it to
That's absolutely fine.
0.50. Yeah. Okay. If you're not currently working on it, I don't want to.
No, nobody's on it right this second, but I think that would be a good jumping off point for you. So happy for you to pick it up.
Okay, yeah. Then I'll take a look. We're wanting to update it to AFJ 050 and also add endpoints and everything for the new openly for verified credential stuff that has been added. So yeah, cool. Then I'll do that. Thanks for the initial work of the PR. Cool. Okay, so for today, we don't have a well-prepared agenda, but I think there's a few things I wanted to discuss. One of them is bring up a new name of the project. Ariel has done some great work with the poll and getting in results, and there's not a lot of feedback, but I think we should just go ahead and make a final decision today, because in the end it's just a name, and I think it's holding up a lot of other stuff by not picking a new name for the project. I wanted to discuss a bit about the new opening for VC work, what's being added, what's being worked on. Again, discuss a bit the 050 release, because it's not released yet, and I think we should get to a release as soon as possible, seeing if there's any outstanding things that would prevent it from being released today. And maybe we can spend also some time on the digital catapult stuff, if like whatever you want to discuss, if it's questions, or maybe see how you can contribute. I think you also said you have some work that you may want to contribute. Would be interested to hear what's that about. Am I missing anything? I don't know, Ariel, if you had any things prepared for this meeting, or?
Hello, guys. I'm glad that I'm in the correct link, because at the beginning I thought that there was a meeting for another organization, but then when I realized that we were we were okay. So we had another thing that was mentioned by Akif from VCGO, but I think he's not here. It was about implementing the RPC protocol, the Aries RPC protocol for RPC. I don't know if you have seen it, but it's about a generic way of executing to do a remote procedure call through DITCOM. I know that they are implementing it in Akapai, and they wanted to also have it, have the AFJ counterpart, right? But I think that maybe we can leave it for the next meeting if nobody from VCGov is here. It's a very a very simple protocol, actually. It's just about doing a request and a response, so I think it will be very straightforward to implement in AFJ. But and also maybe maybe when we talk about the 0.5 release, we can talk a little bit about the status of the PRs we have in progress, and especially for the live mode message pickup. I have some news about that, and also another one which is about the date rotation. Both are still in draft, but hopefully will be ready soon. But yeah, it's only that, I think.
Then let's get started. I can share this. Let me see, can I share this link? So don't know if it Open Wallet Foundation, we're doing a different strategy for meeting notes. Not on the Hyperledger wiki anymore, which is we have the wiki in the repo where we have meeting information and where we can find all the meetings. We don't have any meetings because I think this is the first one we're doing the new notes. And we have a template and at the beginning of a meeting, I paste it in a HackMD so you can live collaborate. So if you want to add your name, feel free to add it yourself to the tennis list so people know you were here. And then afterwards, we publish it on the wiki. So in the repo, you can see a log of the meetings we've had and also the link recordings. So that's new. I think maybe Ariel, we can you can give a bit of an update on like the name stuff and the proposal and the voting thing you opened, and then we can look at like if we can finalize it, because I think a lot of the things that are still outstanding for the full migration to the Open Wallet Foundation is some like naming stuff and updating references, package names, and that's all blocked. Yeah, so I don't know if you can give an update.
We restarted the poll with the two main candidates about a month ago, or 3 weeks ago. Our main candidates were Credo, I don't know how to pronounce it. The other one was a more generic name, let's say, it was Open Trust or Open Trust Framework. Well, we have okay. I don't know, it's well, you see that that the problem is that we are still 50-50, so there is not a clear winner. Actually, I didn't put my vote because, well, I think that both have the pros and cons as I explained there. Credo is probably a better name, but my main concern with that is about the NPM scope, because I'm afraid that if we choose Credo, as we will need to ask to take over the NPM scope, which is already taken by Credo 360, which is an old project. So maybe we can get it. I don't know how much time it will take to do so. What we are going to do in the meantime. Okay, that's mostly my concerns, right? But yeah, as you see, it's still complicated. I don't know if most of you have, or all of you have set your opinion on this poll, or you are, or it's new for you, or no. But okay, we have another Credo.
I just gave my vote there. Literally just gave my vote.
Okay, that's good. So you're making it easier to decide.
Yeah. I think if people want to vote now still, please do so. Especially if it's for the Open Trust Framework. Otherwise, I propose we just go with Credo and Credo ID because it has the most votes, and then we can start with the process of like doing all the other migrations. Unless people are explicitly against it, please say so now then.
Right. So yeah, my proposal was to call it Credo, the Open Trust Framework, you know, to make everybody happy. But yes, of course, Credo is the official name, the official title.
I think Open Trust Framework is a great name as like a subtitle to like if we explain it, for example, in first like the repo, or currently it says like what does it say? It's probably very old, but we're building SSI agents and DITCOM services that aims to be compliant with the Aries RFCs. Well, that's not very up to date anymore, I think, because we're also doing OpenE for VC and other stuff. So I think the like open trust framework might be a good new like tagline.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will say that it's Credo ID, then the scope.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. And Jorge, thank you also for giving your suggestion here. I'm just going to ignore it for the fact that we have had multiple rounds of this, and otherwise we're never going to get to a final thing. But I appreciate the input.
Yeah.
You.
I'll get it. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a reference to the Space Odyssey.
Ah, well, I never saw that movie, but if Kareem were here,
Okay.
he would have loved it that you referenced it. I should watch it probably. Okay. Well, thanks everyone. This was a very slow process, but I'm very happy that we have now finally concluded it. Cool. Okay. So 050 release. I have maybe some things to say about, but maybe Ariel, you want to go first and take the lead on like what you want to say?
Okay. Yeah.
You want to
well,
share?
no, I think I cannot share from where from where I am, but maybe if you can show the PR list. I think
Yeah.
we have for the two PRs I was mentioning. One of them is about the message pickup live mode support, which is open for quite a good time now, but we are testing it. We had some success, fortunately. What we do with this PR is to add some methods, some basically what we are doing is to support the message pickup B2 protocol in live mode support, which means that will allow to deliver messages to clients that are connected through a WebSocket connection, right? So what we have, the news we have here is that I've added some methods to allow for delivering individual messages, which is something that in some cases that can be useful. For instance, when we do have some single instances configurations. And also I added some feedback from you and from Eric as well. For instance, in the API we are now taking the sessions, I mean the live mode sessions instead of connections and that kind of stuff. I'm planning to do some full explanation about how this works and how should we set up a mediator with or a set of mediators with this architecture for next meeting, so it's more clear for everyone, because I know it's complicated to understand how we are supposed to use them. But in short, the good thing is that it's working quite well, and it allows to do different setups of the message pickup repository we want to set. Like we can, for instance, support the CDC mode that Eric suggested, and also we can do something that like you are doing about publishing notifications to different channels of Redis or something like that. And also it will work, it works in single instances, so it's quite flexible, right? In regards to that, I have seen that Eric wanted to add this sample CDC setup. I'm not quite sure where to put it, because I don't know if it's I don't know, what do you think? But I don't know if it will be clear for everyone what's the purpose of this example. I don't know if it's better probably to, once we have this PR merge, to add some, I don't know, some reference implementation in another repo, or in the not in the extensions, but somewhere else, because I don't know if it's, what do you think? Does it worth to add a full implementation, including this Postgres CDC inside the samples in the main repo, or it's too heavy?
I think what I would like to see is to have a opinionated mediator repository where we take the like AFJ and we set it up in a good way for like deployment, where we also publish it as a Docker image, and that you can use it like that with like support for features such as like hosting a Git web to connect, for example, and also like CDC and like multi-instance support, which I think may not be the best fit for the main repository, but could be like a good place to deploy a mediator. So for example, like we have this mediator repository, which is like not really meant for production at the moment. That's also why we call it development mediator, but it has some like things in it for setting up a mediator. We have some internal code also to do like more for production usage. I know like Jakub has worked with his team on like a mediator deployment, and I think there's like a lot of the stuff you do for a mediator deployment, I think are the same. So I think if we can get that all in a separate repository, I think that would be really useful, where we can then also add this part.
Yeah, I agree. We can probably add in the OpenWeb Foundation, we can create a Credo mediation or Credo reference mediator or something like that. Or something more generic, something more generic for samples.
Okay. I'll comment that on the pull request. I don't know if you have a good like foundation Ariel that we can use for the mediator. I'm happy to migrate this one to Hyperledger or wherever we want to host it, or like it would be OWF then. As like a base, we have it set up with, we'll of course remove all the animal branding, but like make it a generic project, but we have like set it up here with like support for Postgres and also Docker publishing to the container registry. So that's the foundation we have. But it's not set up with like multi-instance support or anything yet. So if you have another base that would be better for this, then I'm also happy to use that, and then I can maybe add some like of the Docker and the publishing stuff to it.
Okay, maybe we can prepare something, or probably we can take yours as a base, because actually it's not quite different, right? It's mostly about well, we will need to upgrade the version of the framework to the new one once we have this merge, and also add a custom message repository implementation and some parameters, and it's not quite different actually from what you have there, I think.
Okay, yeah, would be great if we can get it in there. Then we also have like a place for like mediated deployments with AFJ if you want to look at examples or contribute to it. But like you have bifold for mobile, and then you have this for mediators.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, and the other one is more simple. It's about the did rotate protocol. I started working on that. It's still a work in progress, but well, it's as I said, it's quite simple. We add some methods to the connections API. One of them is for to rotate a connections div. So we can switch from a div peer 1 to a div peer 4, or from div peer 4 to div peer 4. It's not there's a limitation on that. And well, in the API we can set a specific div if we want, for instance, a div that we created beforehand, or simply, which I think will be the most common case, we can simply use we can leave the framework to create a new div peer 4 by default, but it can be changed a config parameter to div peer 2 if, for instance, if we want. And the other method is about the hang up, which is about terminating a connection. There are when we do the hang up, we can choose if we want to delete the connection after doing the hang up, or if we want to keep it. The main questions we have, it's about what to do with the former keys, because in the ideal world, we will say that once we do the div rotation, we can just accept messages for the previous div. And once we got the acknowledge of the other party, we can switch the keys and that's it. But theoretically, as DITCOM is an out of order message protocol, we can receive a protocol to the former DIT after getting the acknowledge and vice versa, right? So we have to keep supporting both keys for some time. This is something that is explaining in the protocol as well, right? So at the moment, we are keeping all of them. And probably we can add something to let the user to clean up the former keys, or I don't know, or maybe do it something automatically after some time, or maybe choosing a parameter, adding a config parameter in connections to do automatic cleanup as soon as we get an acknowledge. That's mainly the question, and of course I have to do some testing, right? Because there are no tests uploaded yet. And that's it.
Cool. Okay, makes sense. I think nice protocol to have. Yeah, especially useful for the transition to DITCOM v2. Yeah, I'll give it a look. So, why is it in draft? Are there any things outstanding or?
I didn't get the first part of your sentence. Sorry.
It's still in draft? Like, are there any specific blockers to
Yeah,
why it's still in draft?
no, because I have to add some tests to that mostly, and I will need to add something to allow for this former keys cleanup, mostly because of that. But hopefully, with a few days or so of work, it will be finished. But at least in terms of the API, I think it's more or less what I was thinking of. So any feedback will be appreciated.
And for the out of order nature, I think currently on mobile at least, messages are processed like after each other. But I think, yeah, for cloud environments, it may be a problem. Yes. So I think for now, keeping them is okay. And then we can look at cleanup in the future. Do you think for like the 050 version, can we get these in a ready state in like the next week or something?
Yes,
Do you think?
yes. I will do it. I will for the message pickup. What I will like to do is to leave the config, the default config as it is right now. So in order to avoid adding some as much as possible to add breaking changes to make it more safe, let's say. But I think that most, if correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that most implementations on the client side, like Bifold or for instance BCGov and others, aren't using the message pickup protocol at all, right? I mean, they are using the implicit mode from with Akapai.
Yeah, but there is a plugin for Akapai for Pickup v2, which was created by Indicio, I think. And they are using, I think, that plugin for their mediator.
Yeah, but for the mobile application, I think it's always they are always setting it up with the implicit mode, right?
I don't know necessarily. That could be, yeah, in by default that they do that.
Okay, but anyway, I will. Let's try
Okay.
to not break anything.
Yeah, so okay, I'll do my best to quickly review them in the coming week so we can get them merged.
Great.
In terms of other PRs outstanding for 050, I really want to get this one in to remove the India SDK and move solely to Aries JavaScript because it would clean up a lot of stuff in the repository. And also like in setup and also a lot of code that can be removed. But sadly, I keep getting errors with Aries Oscar in like we have never run it, I think, with so many tests, and I'm just getting random segmentation faults during the test run, which are like terrible to debug. So I don't really know how to continue from it. So I think we should skip it for 050 because it doesn't add any new features. It just removes a feature. So yeah, if somebody has the time to look into this, please be my guest because it's a bit hard to debug because there's things going wrong on like the native side in the Rust in the binary, which is not so easy to debug. And it only happens like if you run the tests separately, it doesn't happen. So it's really something that is happening by running a lot of tests. And I think there's something going wrong. Yeah. So complex issue. I also opened these two PRs, but I'm actually thinking of not including them in 050 maybe, because it would introduce breaking changes to the storage model. I think maybe this one not, but at least this one, and I think we don't have any breaking storage changes in this release yet. So I'm not sure if like such a small one is worth it, especially because we still don't have migration set up for tenants. So that means like if we add migrations now, it means all agents using multi-tenancy won't be able to update that. And I think that's just a lot of trade-offs for like adding this. So I think what I might do is still adding the new tag, but that it only works for records created after only created for tenants after this release, and for the ones before that, we have to do a something else, maybe a separate script that you can run to update it, or we need to look properly into, okay, how can we do migrations for tenant storage, because it's just very complex. Like I don't know how to properly do it for tenants. If you have a lot of tenants, for example, we need to really rework the migration script in that case. So I think maybe that's a good thing we can tackle for 0.6 now, and I don't think it will cause any issues. Anyone that thinks we should include it or has other breaking changes into the storage that will be in 0.5, they think, or should be there?
Well, in the case of this rotation, what I'm doing is to add a new tag for to add the other deeds related to the connections in order to be able to, well, when we receive a message, to be able to check for more than one did or more than a single key. Do you think that adding tags would introduce breaking change? I don't think so, right?
No, because I think the git rotate protocol hasn't been available in previous ones, so there's no tags to, like, the only time it will be added is when you rotate the date, and then you will have the new code, so then it won't be a problem. It's only if you want to, like, if we, for example, had something in the record already for which we now need a tag, but we
Yeah.
don't have these values in the record yet, so I think that should be fine.
Okay.
Cool. Okay.
Okay. For the in regards of the indie SDK PR, I think it's a shame that we cannot do it, but on the other hand, I think that we should find a way to fix those problems, because I think those can be related to more issues in the future, right? I think this, for those who don't know, this was mainly a problem that was introduced when, well, it's more related to the JavaScript wrappers, because we are using Aries ASCAR, we are using Anon RS and NDVDR, which are Rust libraries, and we are using wrappers that are based, in the case of Node.js, they are based on the FFI NAPI interface. Sometimes when we are stressing the wrappers, we are finding some strange issues regarding memory usage and that stuff. And I think that we are not properly handling the cleanup of the memory or objects, or I don't know what. We were able in the past to do some workarounds to make it work, and but I think I don't feel 100% confident that the wrapper architecture we are using it's completely correct. For instance, in Node.js, we are using a patched version of the ref NAPI, because there were some issues on the original project, and it's not maintained anymore. So I think we should take some time to properly fix those issues. Hopefully for the 0.6 release. I don't know, Timo, if we have
Sorry,
something
my
else.
connection fell away. Yeah. Can I share this? All right. Do you see my screen again now?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, so I think the final thing I would really like to get in is the opening for VC support, but that can also be as, I think, a minor one, because the previous one version is experimental, and so it's not covered by the breaking changes, and there is a lot of changes, but I think like the older stuff should mainly remain the same, and we're just adding support for issuance and verification. yeah, I think so that should be fine also. And I think that maybe for like a 0.6 version, we can also start looking again at like really out that have been don't necessarily have to be part of core. So I think like creating a DidCon package will be very nice, and moving all the DidCon stuff there. And I think then the core will become a lot smaller and just be on the crypto stuff, the plugin stuff, maybe the wallet stuff. I think that should be in there in storage, and then everything else can be in the other modules. We don't have a lot of time anymore. Maybe next time I can do a proper overview of like the openly verifiable credential stuff. I would like to spend some more time on that. Just in like, what are the APIs added? Do a demo. See how it works, because it covers like over 5 jobs, and so a lot of new stuff, which I think would be good to spend some time on. I think otherwise that they would want to get it in, there's always a 0.51, 0.6 you can get it in, but like if there's anything, now is the time to get it in. Let me see if there's anything still mentioned here. I'm moving that one. That one I'll update, and then I think we're good. Okay, cool. Then we can spend the last minutes on some of the things Digital Catapult wanted to discuss. I don't know if there's specific topics that you wanted to discuss, any questions you have, or.
So to be honest, Timo, there's not really a great deal for us to say. We really just wanted to join the call, listen, find out where you guys are at, and maybe give you a bit of an introduction to ourselves and what we're currently interested in. I think that would be helpful, maybe. So my colleague Kirthi introduced our organisation earlier. Like, we're a not-for-profit in the UK, looking to kind of accelerate the adoption of various different advanced digital technologies. SSI type technologies are something we've been interested in for a while. We've previously done projects using Akapai and that flavor of Hyperledger Aries. For example, we did a project with the UK's Civil Aviation Authority looking at drone pilot licensing as an example. In more recent times, like our primary distaste, by the way, for Akapai is the fact that it's so closely tied to Hyperledger Indy, which is not our favorite ledger that's ever been created, let's put it that way. And so one of our reasons, as well as being TypeScript developers natively, for becoming interested in this project is the fact that your version of ledger agnostics and on-creds is just so much further along than anybody else's, which has allowed us to kind of pick up this framework, Credo, I think we should call it now, yeah, after this, and kind of start using that in that respect. So there's lots of things within this we're interested in. Primarily, it is kind of that sort of use case within more corporate environments, perhaps, is the sorts of kind of business area. So we're currently doing a project looking at credentialing within a critical minerals supply chain, as an example. But from a technical aspect, ledger agnostic and on-creds, making sure that we have, a somewhat enterprise grade credentialing system with revocation and all those good things. DIDCOM v2, very interested in the standardization of DIDCOM outside of the original Aries community. And so really, as we're kind of implementing on top of Credo, and we're starting to then battle test it a little bit in the environment we're in. And bear in mind, everything we're doing here is open source as well, so you're welcome to have a look and see what we're doing. And then we're kind of happy to contribute back to the project wherever kind of comes up and feels sensible and relevant.
Cool.
So yeah,
Okay.
really, it's a hello.
That sounds great. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great to hear, and I think it aligns with a lot of the things we're working on right now. If you're talking about Ledger Agnostic Anocrat, DIDCOM v2, so yeah, that's great. Do you have a link to the open source repositories? We definitely want
We
to
can
take a look
definitely
at
send
that.
you the link. I believe so we're working on some really cool stuff. We're implementing the spec, so we're working on revocation right now. And Helena in particular from our team has some interesting stuff to say in terms of revocation and some other spec stuff we've been implementing.
Yeah, I will try to do it quickly within the next 3 minutes. Sorry, I wrote it down so I can go through it quickly. So basically what we're interested in now and what we've been working on is implicit invitation. So we saw that the AFJ repo has had that functionality added. There has been, I think, 1 or 2 PRs that merged. So that's in there. But the AFJ external repo doesn't have that functionality exposed. And the AFJ external repo is the one that we forked from. So we added the functionality in there the way that was easiest for us right now. So we just added an additional endpoint and exposed it through that. But also when we were researching it, we looked at Akapai and how they were doing it. It seems that they have 2 endpoints through which it is exposed. So one of them is receive invitation, and I think the other one is did exchange. So we were basically just wanted to ask on your opinion whether you would be happier with exposing this functionality through a new endpoint, or maybe adding a mechanism to receive invitation where you could just provide a did, and depending on whether you provide a did or like an invitation URL, it would be handled differently. Yeah, and basically like we're very like happy to work with you guys and try to merge back upstream. It may be a bit difficult for us, but we're very eager to try.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds great. I think Ariel, you have done the implicit invitation stuff in AFJ. It is a separate method also, right? In AFJ. So how would you set it up? A separate endpoint?
Yeah, it's a different method. So yeah, you can use it. Probably you can simply use it as a separate endpoint. Yeah. I'm not sure if the Akapai implementation is exactly done in the same way as we did, because they are supporting using public deeds as for invitations, and I don't know if they are mostly talking about that instead of the implicit invitation one, but yeah, maybe we can discuss it further if you want, and we can check it.
Yeah, sounds good. And I think I overheard that we will be providing you with a link to our work, so you can also see it there because we have already merged the functionality. So our repo has probably diverged quite a lot from where we forked. But yeah, just an idea.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. All right, and we can also discuss at next meeting. We can discuss in more detail. But thanks everyone for weeks. We're still in the process of like moving the meetings over to Open Wallet Foundation, but that's taking a bit longer. So until you hear from us, we're still on this Zoom link, but it will probably change in the future. So if your Zoom link is suddenly broken, please check the GitHub repository or the Discord or something for a new link.
Yeah.
Well, see you soon, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry to butt in. I know we're past time. But just a quick question. What's the best way to engage with you? So for example, we're doing some revocation work. Should we open issues? Discord?
I think issues is best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a nice day, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.